Hey you guys, it's me Laura. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, ages 6, 10, and 13. And I also run a small curriculum company called Ticket to Learning. And I like to do a lot of reading. So today I'm going to share with you my reading goals and plans for 2024, as well as give you a look inside my 2024 really simple reading journal setup. I have set this up based on what my journals have been last year, and I tried a little bit at the end of 2022, so just very simple is what we have here. And I'm going to show you kind of what my plan is as far as choosing books to read for next year. Over the last couple of years, I've been really focusing almost all of my reading power on books to read for the curriculum, books to read for my kids' curriculum, all of that kind of stuff. My focus and my just thoughts toward all of that in general has changed slightly. So instead of constantly trying to look for the newest thing, constantly trying to find things that are on theme, I am going to stick with mostly books that are on my shelves, as well as books that I have on my TBR list that are at my library or on Libby audio, or on my Kindle already, or books that I already bought on Audible or Libby FM but haven't listened to yet. And so I'm really going to try to stay focused on those areas as much as I can. So what I have is this bag. This is partially a nod from Emily at ARG Schooling. She last year took a jar and every month would do a TBR theme based on books that were on her shelf, and then she would pull books on that theme and kind of go with it. It gave her a lot of freedom, but at the same time helped her read books on her shelf. I'm doing a little bit different. So what I've done is I took all of the books that I have on my shelves here at home that I want to read. I cleaned them out. So if I don't want to read it, I just got rid of it because I thought there's no need with it taking up space. I looked at my Libby tags that I have for audio, the tags that I have for Kindle. I looked at my bookmarked books at my local library, and I created stickers for each of the book covers like this. And I have this bag full of all of those book covers. So there's so many in here. And the idea is when it's time for me to read, I just stick my hand in and pull one out. And then on the back, I have written, like, this one's not one that's on my bookshelf, but I have written where it is. It's on Libby Kindle and Libby Audio. So I can start reading that. So this is what I'm going to do to pick books. We'll see if it lasts all year, but it's what I'm going to try. I'm going to try this, and hopefully that will help me read more books on my shelf. I'm also changing the way that I'm doing videos. So last year on my Instagram and on YouTube, I did a lot of haul videos, and I've done that a lot in the past, but I really don't want to focus on hauls anymore. First off, I'm trying to not buy as much, but secondly, I don't feel like haul videos are super helpful because I can't recommend a book. I can't say whether it's good or bad. I can't really say much about it more than you could if you just went online and looked for books yourself. Instead, I'm going to try to focus on only books that I've read. I might film me picking out my books, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a chronic do not finisher. If I don't like a book, if I don't like the tone of the book, if I get 5 chapters in and I'm just not feeling it, I will stop. There are so many books to read, I will stop. So if I do that, you need to be prepared to see a lot of books that I'm not finishing. It doesn't mean the book is bad necessarily. It just means that I didn't feel like it was worth my time for all the other books that were there. So that's something that I might do. I will still get a few books. There might be some books that I need to get for my company to read or review, but I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum as well. There's still also some new releases that I may end up getting as they come out this year, and I also review on NetGalley, so new releases through there I'll be getting as well, but those are on my Kindle. If it's a book I really like that I can see myself using for either my kids' homeschool or for my company, I might buy that. But that's kind of the parameters that I'm setting for myself. I've also really reduced my Goodreads goals. So it's really tempting to see all these people reading all these books, hundreds of books, 150 books, these huge high goals. Last year, I was able to read 100 books on Goodreads. This year, I think I'm going to end up at like 75 or 76, somewhere, 74. I don't remember exactly, but somewhere in that range. And I just don't like the pressure of feeling like I have to read all of these books. I would rather read, and then I would find myself finishing books that I didn't really want to read just so that I could get that Goodreads number. And that's not really what I want to be doing. I'd rather read slower, enjoy the books, really chew on them, and not feel so rushed all the time. So I am putting my book goal at 45 books. That's just under 1 book a week. That's still a lot of books in a year. I might blow that out of the water. That's totally fine. But I think I should be able to get at least that many in, especially with the reading that I do. I count read alouds I do with my kids. I count reading that I do for work. All of that counts. That's kind of where I'm playing with things this year. It's more about focus on quality and less on quantity. I've also focused the same way in my reading journal. You'll see that there are not a whole lot of spreads in here because I realized last year I don't actually need reading challenges that tell me, you know, read these kinds of books, because I have so many books that I want to read. I don't really need help with categories or with finding them. Like, it's really easy for me to come up with books to read. So I find that those challenges just kind of nag at me in the back. Oh, but what about this challenge? What about this challenge? When there's all these other books to read. So I also really did not like doing I did like a ranking system where I forget what you call them, but you have 2 books against each other and then 2 books against each other and then those books against each other. I don't like that because I feel like I don't have to pick just one best book of the year. I have my 5-star books. I love the 5-star books. It seems really ridiculous to be putting like a children's book up against like a nonfiction serious. Like, you just can't really compare them always. So I'm not doing that this year. I'm just keeping things nice and sweet and simple. So I will show you. I'm going to point this down so you can see my journal. One thing I'm doing to keep things really simple is you'll notice I have tons of stickers throughout my book. I don't want this to take a long time. I want this to be easy to use, but I am very visual. I love beautiful things. I love color. I love all of that. So I am utilizing stickers, and I'll be doing that all year long just to kind of give it some extra pop. That's also why I do these book cover stickers. I didn't put them on stickers. I was just cutting things out last year, but I really found that I really liked having these in my book journal from last year. So I'm going to do that. So when I have a review page, I will stick this on the review page. And so that will help me remember. And I love having these to look back on. I won't necessarily remember a book's title, but if I see the cover, I'll remember it. I have my table of contents, which is just, you know, your really basic. And then this is where I'm going to write all my 5-star reads of 2024. And these, I'm only going to put 5-star reads that are new to me. If I reread a 5-star book with my kids for school or something like that, I will count that in my overall total, but I'm not going to put it here because it's already in my 5-star reads. And I liked having this rating guide last year. If I was having a hard time rating a book, knowing exactly where to put it, I found that this was really helpful. So I just copied this over from my last one. And then if there are books that I'm really looking forward to, often I have lists either on Goodreads that I'll keep track of that, or I have a pre-release wish list on Amazon, and sometimes I'll request those at my library, but sometimes they're not, I'll hear about them before you can find them on those platforms, so I will keep track of those here. And then here I have my reading log. This is just where any books I finish, I'm just gonna write the title, author, date, my rating, and then the page that the review is on. So I have way more of these than I think I will need, but that's totally fine. It goes up to number 120. And then here's where I'm gonna keep track of my abandoned books. So I did this last year, but the thing that is missing is my plan last year was to write in the review section about the book, but a lot of times, sometimes I'll abandon books like right at the onset because I really don't like the tone. I can't follow the way that it's written. There are some things that, you know, can very quickly find out this is not the right book for me. And so in those cases, I have 2 lines here. So one line to write the title, the author, and the date. And then one more line where I can just make a note of why I abandoned the book. Sometimes I'm reading it and I'm like, I'm just not in the mood for this right now, but I might come back to it later. So anyway, I can just kind of keep track of that here. So I have these pages. Again, I just use stickers to decorate them. And then this is where I have my book reviews. So I have here a little note as well to remind me what I kind of want on the reviews. I want a cover photo, title, author, date, rating, format, notes, thoughts, and then my review. And I also have back here, I got these from Emily Cromwell Designs, and if I remember, I will link her website below. but these are fun little rating stickers that I'm going to put there as well, just again for fun and color, without having a lot of work on my part. So there's that. And then I've got all of these blank pages where I'll just do reviews. And then back here I have these are books that I'm looking at on NetGalley that I really want to consider requesting, and these I really enjoy these authors, so I highlighted them to let myself know that these are ones that I'm really interested in. I wrote down a list of the books that I have on my Kindle just so that they don't get forgotten, and these are books on Audible and Libby FM. I actually wrote these out before I decided to do the stickers, but this is still good for me to know, like if I'm looking for an audiobook particularly, I can go to that list. And that is literally all there is to my book. It is nice and simple. If I decide to go ahead and put in the stickers for the abandoned books, I will probably block off a section here at the end of the review pages and just use that. And one other thing that I have is here in the front, it's crooked. I'm so sad I put it on crooked, but I made this little envelope, and this is where I keep the stickers for the current books that I am reading. So right now I'm reading these two, and so that way I've just got those pulled out, easy to find, and a place to kind of store them so they don't get lost in the shuffle. And then there is a pocket here in the back where I keep got all kinds of stickers back here for decorating. So as you can see, it's a super simple setup. I do have some bookish washi tape that I will use. Sometimes I will type out a review on Goodreads. I'm not going to rewrite that in my journal. I will just print that out and tape it in. If I need to add extra spreads somewhere, I can use washi tape to do that. But I don't want to have to spend a ton of time on this. I want this to be helpful and useful and help me take a minute when I'm done with a book to really process it rather than just rapidly moving on to the next one. And based on what I've done last year, I think this is going to work really well, and it's simple, and it's just, I love having it to look back on, especially with the covers and the stickers there. This really, I don't know, it makes me happy. It brings me a lot of joy. So that is what I'm doing this year. I would love to hear what your reading goals are, and if you track your reading and how you do all of that, and what your plans are for reading in the next coming part. One thing to remember too is that you don't always just have to start at the new year. You can make new goals every month, every quarter. You can do your reading from March to February if you want. It doesn't matter. Those dates are all arbitrary. This is just what cycle I'm on and what's working for me. But that is all I have for you guys today. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.